Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. We're doing the ENSO update for April 2020 for today's video. So I'm going to bring you an update of everything that's going on in terms of ENSO. We'll have a look at sea surface temperature anomalies, subsurface temperature anomalies, and some model output to see where the forecasts are going in terms of ENSO through the next few months. So I'll get on that for you very shortly, just to say about the first video released today. Of course, on Friday was January Friday, that's your month-ahead look ahead, and also week 10-day video update as usual with regular features. And you can find both of those videos on the homepage at subsurface.com and on the YouTube channel. Right, so I'm going to start off with the cold and warm episodes by season chart from CPC, NCEP, and NOAA. And this is depicting every El Nino and La Nina and ENSO neutral event through tri-monthly periods going all the way back to the 1950s. So we've got these blue coloured numbers in the boxes. That's where we've got cold events going on. La Nina, for example, 1955 had a La Nina that lasted throughout the entire year. We've got red coloured numbers, that's where we've got El Ninos, warm events taking place. So, for example, 1957 to 1958 had a moderate to borderline quite strong El Nino event going on. So, blue is La Nina, red is El Nino. And of course, the all-important number is 0.5, be that above for El Nino or below, so there's 0.5 there for El Nino, or below for La Nina. That's the all-important number, half a degree above or below average. That is the required temperature threshold to be able to say you are at El Nino temperature. That's like the minimum, but you have to be either half a degree above for El Nino or half a degree below for La Nina. You also have to run that anomaly over 5 tri-monthly periods as well. So it's quite strict criteria to get an El Nino or a La Nina designated. Right, let's come down to the latest year then, and we come down to 2019 just there, and 2020 just there. So, of course, we start 2019 with a very weak El Nino event. These red coloured numbers barely reaching El Nino thresholds, just like almost half a degree or just above half a degree above average. We go back to black on this tri-monthly period, which is June, July, August. Summer 2020 sees a reversal of El Nino to ENSO neutral. We lose that half a degree minimum requirement to be at El Nino threshold. Instead, we are 0.3 degrees above average. Now, we stay with these black coloured numbers, which is ENSO neutral, through to the end of the year. Now, what happens in October, November, December is quite interesting, because we pop back up to 0.5 degrees above average. And we do it again for November, December, January, 0.5 degrees above average. So that's 2. Down here, we've got 2020, December, January, February, again at 0.5 degrees above average. And the last tri-monthly period we have, tri-monthly period number 4, is January, February, March, again 0.5 degrees above average. At the moment, those numbers are black, so that is still ENSO neutral. That's because we need one more half a degree above average or more in this box just here for February, March, April to appear. And if we do have that appearing at 0.5, then the numbers will go red, and actually we will be told by NOAA and CPC and NCEP, we will be told by the agencies that we have had an El Nino through the winter of 2019-20, even though it has barely scraped El Nino thresholds. If we get one more tri-monthly period at 0.5 degrees above average placed in this box, then the numbers will go red, and it will be just about the weakest possible El Nino, the absolute weakest El Nino that is possible to get. With all of those 5 tri-monthly periods coming out half a degree above average, just scraping that minimum requirement to get an El Nino threshold. So it'll be quite exciting early next month to see what happens when that number is placed in the box for February, March, April. If it comes in at 0.4, then it will just be ENSO neutral winter, or it will have been an ENSO neutral winter 2019-2020. But if it's half a degree again, then the numbers will go red. These numbers are provisional, I have to say, or at least the last two. So this one just here, this one just here are provisional, and they are subject to change. These two are finalised, I think. They won't change, but these two just here, they could change, and when this number is placed in the box here, that could change as well. So it'll be interesting what happens anyway. All the way along, I've been saying this is an ENSO neutral winter, but on the warm side of ENSO neutral. But it is possible now that it will turn out that 2019-2020 will be officially designated as an El Nino winter, even though it barely scrapes the absolute, the absolute minimum requirement to be an El Nino. But it could be that 2019-2020 will go down as the weakest El Nino possible. We shall see. Now, this is how the sea surface temperature anomalies were looking in the ENSO region when we did last month's ENSO update. So, of course, we're measuring the sea surface temperature anomalies just here along the equatorial Pacific Ocean. We've got Indonesia over there, and we've got Peru in South America just there. And, of course, ENSO is the cyclical warming and cooling of the equatorial Pacific Ocean over sort of monthly, yearly, and decadal phases. So that is very much a signature for ENSO neutral last month at ENSO neutral really for the equatorial Pacific Ocean, neither particularly above or particularly below average. This is the latest chart I can show you from this sort of older version of BC surface temperature. This is from the 20th of April, and in a minute I'm going to show you the high definition, the new high definition sea surface temperature anomaly charts that we will be using from next month's update onwards. So this from the 20th of April, this will be the last time that we have one of these old sea surface temperature anomaly maps. For like the current period, we will be able to look back in the archive and see these old sea surface temperature anomaly maps going back into years gone past. But this will be the last sort of new sort of anomaly. Right, so this is from 20th of April, and you see again we're at ENSO neutral already, but we have actually seen a bit of warming over here in the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. So over towards Peru, actually that looks like a little bit of a signature for El Nino, I have to say. Now, we've been expecting to stay either at ENSO neutral or possibly even to go to La Nina, to a cold event. But at the moment, there's absolutely no sign whatsoever of a cold event in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. If anything, we're sort of looking at a slight warming of the equatorial Pacific Ocean on the eastern side, anyway, on the Peruvian side. And that looks like a very slight signature for El Nino at the moment in terms of the sea surface temperature. However, overall, we're at ENSO neutral still across the broader sort of body of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. We remain on the warm side of ENSO neutral. This is a new version of the sea surface temperature anomalies. This is what we'll be using going forwards, of course. So there we go. That's how it's looking. And this is from the 21st of April. I want to include this in this month's video because next month we will compare next month's sea surface temperature anomaly to this map. So, again, we've got the equatorial Pacific Ocean just here. This is the region map we're talking about. We've got Peru just there. Indonesia is over here. Again, we remain at ENSO neutral. Where we've got these clear areas just here, that is actually where it is bang on average. So just there, just there, just there. That's where the sea surface temperature anomalies are neither above or below average. They are bang on average. But you can see that through the equatorial Pacific Ocean itself, through here, actually most areas are above average. Through central western parts of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, sea surface temperature anomalies are sort of just a little bit above average, so sort of ENSO neutral on the warm side. But this area here, that's what I was just talking about with the old version of these maps. This area just here, that looks like a very, very slight signature for El Nino. Actually, it is quite significantly above average, albeit quite a limited area. So we'll be comparing next month's sea surface temperature anomalies to this chart. So that's why I wanted to include it in this month's video. Subsurface-wise, things are beginning to look a little bit more La Nina-esque, I have to say. So this is from the CPC, NCEP and NOAA PDF, so this gets updated on a weekly basis. We do link to this on the links page at Gaz Weathervids, but you do need a file opener like Adobe Reader to be able to open this page. So this is showing subsurface temperature anomalies in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Very interesting. It's showing we can't see subsurface temperature anomalies for the wider oceans like the Atlantic and the wider Pacific, but this is like the surface of the equatorial Pacific Ocean just here. So you think we've got Peru just there, and then we've got Indonesia over on the left-hand side of the chart, as you're looking at it. And that black line, you can think of that as kind of like the very surface equatorial Pacific Ocean. Then we've got the depths of the ocean just here, going from 50 to 100 to 150 metres to 200 and all the way down to 300 metres. Very deep ocean. So towards the surface, these subsurface temperature anomalies are actually still relatively above average. So on the temperature scale, they're around 1 to 2 degrees above average, just underneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. So kind of like to 50 to 100 metres, not to a very great depth. But underneath that, you see we've got these blue colours gathering. These blue colours are colder than average subsurface temperature anomalies. They are developing, and they are actually expanding now. These colder than average subsurface temperature anomalies, and they're more or less now stretching from like the far western side of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, so the Indonesian side, right way over to the Peruvian side. And on the Peruvian side, they have actually broken, or just about anyway, more or less, reached the surface now. So that's going to be quite interesting to see what happens there. If that area of cold and average subsurface temperature anomalies continues to expand over the next month or two, then it's possible we will see the slightly above average temperature anomalies just here, just underneath the surface, beginning to get swamped and beginning to get broken up, and we see the cold and average temperature anomalies rising up to the surface. If that happens, then we could start to move in towards a La Nina event, depending on what happens with the atmosphere. So the next thing to look at is the SOI, the Southern Oscillation Index, which is from Queensland Government and part of the Bureau of Meteorology. Remember, the SOI is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state. It's not driving anything in its own terms. It just tells you what the atmosphere is doing. When the SOI is in its positive phase, then the atmospheric state will be reflective of a La Nina, of a cold event. When the SOI is in its negative phase, then the atmosphere will be reflective of an El Nino, a warm event. So negative numbers are El Nino, positive numbers are La Nina. And to get these events going properly, be they either El Nino or La Nina, you really need the ocean, the sea surface temperatures, and the subsurface temperature anomalies to couple up with the atmosphere. And when you get the two syncing with one another, then you will start to drive either El Nino or La Nina events. So it's measuring air pressures between Darwin and Tahiti. In this column we have the barometric pressures on a daily basis for Tahiti, and in this column we have the atmospheric pressure measurements for Darwin in northern Australia, and then this is the overall SOI number that we come out with in this column. These are preliminary, but they don't tend to change all that much. So we've been trading negativity and positivity of the SOI over the past few weeks and months, actually. So we've neither been in a consistent El Nino state, and nor have we been in a consistent La Nina state, and so that is why we have been at ENSO neutral, albeit we may find out next month that we've actually had the weakest El Nino on record. But anyway, we come to the 1st of April just here, and we have an SOI number of plus 5.33. Weekly La Nina type setup in the atmosphere. However, the 2nd and the 3rd of April go down to minus 10, minus 16, and the 4th of April goes down to minus 11. That's the atmospheric setup, quite strongly reflective of an El Nino. 6th and 7th of April, also quite negative, again, El Nino type atmospheric state, but the 8th of April is more positive, rather La Nina-esque at plus 6.63. Moving to more recent numbers, we've got the 12th and also the 13th 13th of April, coming out at plus 15 and plus 16. So that's the atmospheric state, quite reflective of sort of a moderate La Nina type setup. Negative again on the 16th and 17th of April, minus 16 to minus 18. So that's El Nino-esque. See how we're trading these negative and positive numbers on a day-by-day basis. 19th of April swings positive, goes to plus 15. That's quite strongly reflective of a La Nina type setup. 20th of April, again La Nina at plus 8. We've got 21st around sort of ENSO neutral, neither positive or negative at 0.14. 22nd of April, just very slight negative, minus 2. 23rd of April, plus 1. So definitely we remain around ENSO neutral at the moment. There's no clear, consistent signal between either El Nino or La Nina. However, you can see that the 30-day SOI average, which is this red line, is lifting upwards. So it's still just about negative. It's moving up to this minus 3 line. But from where it was at the beginning of April down here, we have definitely seen an increase in the Southern Oscillation Index 30-day average, telling us that we are moving perhaps a little bit more to a La Nina type atmospheric state. But certainly it's still an ENSO neutral, really. And still a little bit on the negative side of ENSO neutral, actually. So from an SOI perspective, no clear signal of either La Nina or El Nino at the moment. Right, let's have a look at some forecasts then. So the CFS V2, of course, has been consistently going for a La Nina through this summer. It's still going for that. This is the region 3.4 sea surface temperature anomaly forecast through for the rest of the year from the CFS V2. We've got our temperature anomalies on the side, dates on the bottom. There's the all-important excuse me, 0.5 below average. This is the all-important 0.5 above average. And as I said, we've got our dates along the bottom of the chart. So we're starting off there on the warm side of ENSO neutral, in fact, just about reaching borderline El Nino territory. But from here, look how the black dash line, which is the ensemble mean, look how that just drops away, falls away through the summer. So by the time you get through into the autumn, sort of October, November, December time, we're bottoming out at nearly 1.5 degrees below average, a little bit shy of 1.5 degrees below average, but very close to it. That is reaching sort of borderline weak to moderate La Nina territory. So the CFS, we've been very consistent really since January. I think it first started going for this card event. It's still doing it. And you can see that there are several of these ensemble plume members, which are these blue coloured lines you see. You see there are several of those that are actually going a little bit colder than the ensemble mean. However, these ones up here are a little bit warmer than the ensemble mean. But overall, still looking at like a flip into La Nina by July. So by July, just there, we're sort of under 0.5 degree below average. So that is reaching La Nina threshold. That's quite a dramatic drop in temperature, by the way, from where it is in April to where it is in July. That is quite a quick flip into La Nina, and that just strengthens them through the rest of the summer and into the autumn. So a weak La Nina in place by July, with quite a rapid flip from where it is in April to July, and then a borderline moderate La Nina by the end of the year. That remains a CFS V2 forecast. This is the sea surface temperature anomaly forecast from the CFS in terms of those sea surface temperature anomalies. So this is for May. For next month, you can see that again we've got this little blue area just starting to appear there. And that's the beginnings of the card event. That's the beginnings of the La Nina. Look at how it looks by August, though. This is how it looks by August. The blue areas, the cold average sea surface temperature anomalies expand out across pretty much all regions, actually, of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. That is a proper La Nina signature there that the CFS is going for by the time we get through to the end of the summer. And it is quite a quick flip from where we are right now. Just going back to the sea surface temperature anomalies overall, though, this is how they are, and there's absolutely no sign of those colder than average sea surface temperature anomalies that the CFS is picking up on as early as next month, just here. So we shall see whether the CFS has this right or not. This is how CanSips is looking. Now, a couple of months ago, CanSips, which is the Canadian model from tropicaltidbits.com, CanSips was going for quite a strong landing year. This is the latest forecast from this month, so this is May, and again, not much sign of landing year, not much sign of blue colours here in the actual Pacific Ocean next month. How does it look further on, though? So that's August. By then, we have got a very, very slight landing year signature. Only a very slight. That probably barely gets you to landing year. That's probably still somewhere close to, it's almost getting towards half a degree below average, but not quite. So CanSips is much slower in developing a landing year signature through the summer. By the autumn, this is November, by the autumn it does have a weak landing year in place. So by the autumn, CanSips is going for a weak landing year, but it's a much slower transition into landing year than what the CFS is forecasting, and it's also a lot weaker as well on the temperature scale. I think it's going down at its core just here and just there, going down to around a degree below average. So that's like a weak landing year in place by the end of the autumn. But certainly a lot weaker than the CFS is going for, and also a lot slower too. This is the ECMWF sea surface temperature anomaly ENSO plume. So this is from last month. This is how things were looking during March. So these are our warmest plume members just here, ensemble plume members just here. These are our coldest ensemble plume members just here. Last month, the thrust of the ECMWF ensemble plume was around here, so on the keep things on warm side of ENSO neutral really. This is the latest for April. And I think the ECMWF is actually starting to shift towards the La Nina. Actually, remember, same idea, temperature was on the side, dates on the bottom. That's where we're starting off at right now, on the warm side of ENSO, neutral to borderline El Nino. By July, most of the ensemble plume members are in that sort of zone. These are cold outliers, these are warm outliers. So by July, sort of into ENSO neutral. By the autumn, this is more in line with what CanSips is showing, I think. By the autumn, the ensemble plume, the raw thrust of the ensemble plume is around there, I think. These are cold outliers down here, these are warm outliers up here. So by the autumn, by October, looks like sort of ENSO neutral to borderline La Nina with the ECMWF ensemble plume, which is a movement towards a La Nina compared to last month. That's how the ensemble plume looks last month. This is how the ensemble plume looks this month. You can see that there has been a bit of a shift with the ECMWF ensemble plume, albeit quite a modest shift, but it has been a bit of a shift towards La Nina from the ECMWF ensemble plume. This is JAMSTEC. This is keeping things at ENSO neutral, really. So again, we've got the temperature on the side, dates on the bottom. You can see that through to July, just there, we're still at ENSO neutral, still on the warm side of ENSO neutral, actually. And even by next winter, sort of January 2021, we're still around ENSO neutral. That does mask, within the ensemble plume itself, though, these warmer members up here, and a few that are going towards the La Nina, those ones down there. But overall, JAMSTEC is still at ENSO neutral. Beijing Climate Centre looks like this. Quite interesting, actually, with Beijing Climate Centre forecast. So next month, May, it looks like we've got a bit of a La Nina signature getting going, in line with like what the CFS is showing. That looks like quite a signal for La Nina to be getting going with the Beijing Climate Centre as early as next month. But by August, that's fading out. That's quite unusual for that to happen. Normally, if a state, be it La Nina or El Nino, is getting going at the beginning of the summer, normally that will carry on strengthening through the summer and into the autumn. But what's happening there, the Beijing Climate Centre, is that it does have a La Nina signal for next month, for May. That looks like we've got a proper La Nina getting going, but it sort of fades away to nothing by the time we get through to August. So that's quite unusual, Beijing Climate Centre. And then finally, we've got the UK Met Office GLOW-C5 sea surface temperature anomaly forecast. This is for the tri-monthly period, May, June, July. And we've got a La Nina signal here over in the eastern part of the actual Pacific Ocean towards Peru. We've got those green and blue colours. On the temperature scale, blue gets you down to sort of 1 to 2 degrees below average. Green is kind of like half a degree below average. If we go through to that's months 2 to 4 out. If we go through to months 4 to 6 out, which takes us from July to September, look at that, a real strengthening of that La Nina signature there. That's quite a strong La Nina. It is quite a strong La Nina that the Met Office model is going for, with deep blue colours turning up on the temperature scale. That will get you below 2 degrees below average. If that came off, that would be the strongest La Nina that we've had for a very, very long time, actually. Does look a little bit strange given how warm overall the Pacific Ocean is. So look at all this red and orange that we've got in the northern Pacific and over here and down there as well. Generally the Pacific Ocean looks quite warm there, and then we have that very strange sort of strong La Nina signature in the middle in the Equatorial Pacific. Normally, if you had a strong La Nina, you would expect the Pacific overall to be quite cold. However, the UK Met Office model is a good model, so we certainly can't discount that possibility that we could very quickly move into a really strong, La Nina and get it going through the summer. If we did, that would have pretty grim impacts probably on the summer of 2020. But again, that's as strong as any of the models that we've seen. UK Met is a good model, but I suspect that will be toned down when the UK Met Office seasonal model updates next month. It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens with the UK Met model next month. So it's all very inconclusive at the moment, as it usually is around this time of year. We're at the spring predictability barrier. Within the next month or two, things will become clearer. It will become clear which way we're going. Are we going to stay at ENSO neutral? Are we going to go into La Nina? It looks like the chance of an El Nino, although the seas over temperature lines at the moment are a little bit El Nino-esque, but it looks like the chance of an El Nino is very low for this year. It looks like it's either going to be ENSO neutral, I think, or La Nina, and we should wait and see where things go over the next month or two. But this does have impacts on our summer fate, because if we flip very quickly into quite a strong La Nina, as the UK Met is doing there, then there would be a much increased chance of this summer going very rapidly down the tubes. Say no more than that. Right, so that's it for this month's ENSO update. We'll do it all over again next month, and hopefully we'll have a rather clearer picture of what's happening in next month's update. Just say that coming up over the weekend, we're going to have the weekend forecast tomorrow. We'll have a week 10-day update as well. We're going to be doing our second seasonal roundup for the summer of 2020, called the summer 2020 seasonal roundup, coming up this weekend as well. And I think that's going to be on Sunday morning, first be up on Sunday. And we'll also have Gaz Lover's Study Roundup. We'll have a live stream on the YouTube channel too. So loads going on this weekend. Stay in, stay indoors, stay safe. And there'll be plenty to keep you occupied and entertained at Gaz Lover's through the weekend. That's all for now though, and thanks for watching.